This is Brian Zimmerman from Boise, Idaho, reflecting on my time and my work at Full Sail University and how I came to write Student Persistence, the Challenge of Successful Students, and to design Project Foundation. I became a college instructor after years as a technology trainer for ExecuTrain and CompUSA. As a college instructor with only a bachelor's degree, I knew it was important to continue my education. As a graphics arts instructor who has never taken an art class, I learned graphics while learning to teach Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. I needed to look for a design field. When I found Full Sail, I first looked at the MFA in graphics, but it didn't feel right for me at the time. When I looked at the EMDT, everything fell into focus, and I knew it was the program for me. Not only were the courses aligned with where I wanted to go, I wanted to experience what a top-line educational program could be delivered online. The DME class was the first class where I realized the importance of prior proper preparation. I sailed through the material Welcome to this web-based presentation, Lights of the Oregon Coast, brought to you by Bravo Zulu Productions. By the end of this presentation, you will be able to identify the lighthouses of the Oregon coast. While many of my classmates floundered, I was amazed that people I believed were much smarter than I did not know how to use the technology. This class gave me a clear vision of what Project Foundation needed to be. As a technology trainer, I have always been comfortable reading the fine manuals. While reading Jensen and playing with the idea of creating comic book tutorials, I found I could give my students a more friendly set of instructions, and I've found a light and easy way of delivering just in time, just enough training. The exercises in filmmaking led me to machinima and will provide a new way of canning tutorials for my students in the future. While learning about educational evaluation, I looked for better ways for my students to evaluate me as a teacher. By opening myself up to the answers to questions like these, I am finding new ways to better my teaching and to communicate the depth of my care to my students. And then the fun began. Game theory class was amazing in a whole new way. I was forced to acknowledge there were games worth playing on the computer beyond solitaire. World of Warcraft has opened up a new world for me that is at once challenging and addicting. I have gained new empathy for parents who can't get their kids off of the game and into their schoolwork. Stevens-Henager College, my employer, has experienced a huge growth curve, doubling enrollment each year for the last 3 years. Unfortunately, the student dropout rate has increased at almost the same rate as our enrollment. Currently, our drop rate for online classes is almost 19%. At Stevens-Henager, each student takes their first month a basic computer operations class. SHC statistics show that a student who achieves a grade of C+ or better stands an 85% chance of graduation. Conversely, students who receive less than a C- fail to complete college 80% of the time. If a student leaves college without a degree and without the ability to gain a better career, there is an 85% probability that the student will default on their loans. When this happens, the student is referred for collection, their credit rating is destroyed, and it makes it almost impossible to obtain housing or dependable transportation. For the college, the cost is also high. Sending these accounts to collection results in approximately 95% of their debt being written off. This trend must be reversed, or the college is at risk, both from financial ruin and the possible loss of accreditation. I see a big part of the problem in students with no prior computer experience and often very limited keyboard skills being admitted and placed in classes along with computer literate students. In my experience as a college instructor, most students who struggle and drop have poor keyboarding and poor computer skills. I want to create and pilot a program to teach the basics of keyboarding and computer literacy in a series of workshops for students prior to admission into college. Searching the literature was very frustrating. While many articles discuss high school grades and SAT scores, the literature is strangely silent on basic computer skills and success. Perhaps my background in corporate training gives me a heightened sensitivity to this problem. According to Carl Barney, Stevens Henniger's chairman of the board, we have a moral obligation to provide the maximum services and assistance to all students. Project Foundation will consist of pre-admission screening to evaluate students' readiness. For students who pass the basic keyboarding and IC3 certifications, will enter classes immediately. For those prospective students who are lacking in skills, will be diverted into a pre-admission series of remedial workshops to build those foundational skills. My instructional approach has been gained from primarily Vygotsky, who created the constructivist approach to education and articulated the theory of scaffolding. Project Foundation will provide the students with the ability to gain proper foundation for their education. Providing students with a solid skill set will allow them to achieve success. Stolovich and Keeps describe the dichotomy between declarative and procedural knowledge. They state what we learn declaratively cannot be easily transmitted into procedural knowledge unless we already possess similar procedural knowledge. Each learning experience in Project Foundation will build on the one immediately prior. Starting with basic keyboarding skills allows the student to build a foundation in a skill essentially unchanged in over 100 years. Keyboarding will lead to computers and the skills described in the IC3 certification. IC3 skills are both declarative and procedural. Prior to formal enrollment in college, Project Foundation skills participants will demonstrate competency in the following areas: keyboarding skills of 20 words per minute, and the IC3 certifications. IC3 is divided into three main areas: computer hardware, peripherals and troubleshooting, using the internet, World Wide Web, and search strategies, and key applications like word processing, email, and spreadsheets. As students complete their time in Project Foundation, they will enter college on a much more level playing field with much higher confidence. They will be far more ready to succeed. The beauty of Project Foundation lies in its relevance to the student. Each student lesson will begin with the rationale for the skills being presented, a clear set of tasks, and the students will work through those tasks to attain mastery. Feedback will come from successful completion of the tasks and passing certification. I foresee Project Foundation being evaluated by the success rates in the first basic computer course and in the long-term change in graduation rates. Thank you. Brian Zimmerman signing off from Boise, Idaho. Bravo Zulu.